Muzak. I got some new fun buttons too that you haven't heard yet. Oh, I got to do them last week.
So, all right.
On the show, I got a whole second page of my keys on my Stream Deck setup. Fun stuff. Send this off. Get it over to YouTube. Send the link over to X. Let's slide into the stream. I want people to get your feet wet. Shot. Nobody likes a shot football game. Especially me.
The same music.
It is. The music I love. I think it's the music we both love, actually. Yeah, I don't hear an echo on the show either. So let's share this link and we'll go live. Let's get the show rocking and rolling. Get over to the Cheese Chat page. See what there is to see. Make sure everyone's in the screen. There he is. You can see him. I can see him. We all know he's right there in front of us. Let's check the audio. Make sure we don't have a weird echo going on. We do not. I had a couple shows where the echo was weird for the fans. So we don't want to do that. What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chiefs Chat. We're live. I'm here today with guest host Chris White. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. Yeah, real good. Can't complain. Enjoying the summer. It's been good so far. So, yeah, and we're taking down not long now to Chiefs football. I'm talking proper football.
All right, proper football. Where we're going, we got one more game with the Bears, and we'll see how that goes. Do you figure there's going to be much starter play to polish up the guys? Or do you think they're going to treat it like a fourth preseason game back in the day?
A little more than what we've seen so far. Certainly, I wouldn't expect it. Kind of one snap for Patton and gets pulled again. So I would certainly hope that there's a bit more of an extended look, just to get them kind of that match situation. It's they always say it was a bit old football analogy over here. That was soccer. There's a difference between fitness levels and being match fit.
That's right.
So
we call that being in shape and being in football shape. There's a big difference. I'm hoping we get to see at least a quarter. Do you think we'll get a quarter out of the guys, or do you think that's a bit too much to ask for?
I would hope so, but I think it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bit less than a quarter. If it was maybe kind of a, I don't know, kind of couple of drives, maybe one with 5 minutes left out in the quarter. Who knows? Who knows? But I'd like to see. I certainly hope they got a quarter. It'd be nice to see.
I mean, seeing that they barely played thus far. I mean, back in the day when it was 4 preseason games, the third one used to be the tune-up game, and they played. Some teams would play a half. Some people would play 3, almost 4 quarters. There's no fourth game in the preseason this year. I'm hoping they at least a quarter. I mean, if they stay healthy, I wouldn't mind seeing a half. I'd like to see what our team actually does. But if they're not going to show anything anyway, I would not be shocked at all if it's like a drive or two, and that's it with the starters.
Yeah, I would. Nothing would shock me, to be honest. There's nothing would shock me as far as the Chiefs are concerned when it comes to preseason games. Who knows? It could be. I'm shocked if they played a half, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, they're one of the best teams in football over the last 10 years or more. So there's that. We have some interesting information on players. Felix is gone. Let me look at the list. I want to just go down the list of guys because I got a list of the walking wounded and such. First of all, they waived released Elijah Young. Oh, this is weird. Okay, there we go. Elijah Young, Darius Russ, the Russian corner. Eric Scott Jr., another corner. Chris Ladakun, on again, off again relationship. Hopefully he'll be on the practice squad, I predict, in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Ikao Boyedo, Chukwuebuka, Jason Godric, Truman Jones, Cornell Powell a long time ago. These are all, Did they waive Nico Remigio? It just says other notable names. This
Don't
is
believe
AI.
it. No.
He's still there.
He was
He's still in the mix.
the guy that's the
The return man. He
Dave
should.
Tope was talking about him doing the he was talking about him as the guy that was, for him, was streets ahead of everybody else in terms of the return game.
Yeah.
So Dave Tope loves him. So that's one of the things that I was going to speak about actually.
I heard Dave also was saying that
Too.
Sky Moore is the best punt catcher on the team. Didn't say punt returner. He said best punt catcher. Yet he muffed the punt
I'd like to know
and
how
dropped 2 footballs in the last preseason game. Then the big return that everybody was like, "Oh, salvation! See, he's a great player. You gotta don't." Here's the thing. Let me ask you your opinion. A lot of people chimed in. They said people that are wishing for his downfall, which I'm not wishing for anyone's downfall. People that are saying you can't say anything negative about anybody or you're a hater. But if your job is to observe football, if your job is to assess football players, I'm looking at a guy who's had years and years to do it and prove it and has not.
Yeah.
Hey, you got 2 rings. You got a touchdown in the Super Bowl that we needed. We only won by 3. That's great. Time to ride off into the sunset to another football team because this team, the bottom of the barrel is too high now. He's not even the lowest rung on the ladder at this point. What are your thoughts on Sky Moore?
I'm in agreement. I mean, I'm like anyone. How anybody could not support a player that plays for the team that you support, regardless of what you think of the ability, is beyond me. You shouldn't really want. Nobody wants to see the downfall of anybody if they play for your team. So that first off for me, to get that out there, miss me with that kind of thing. Secondly, he's had a number of years to do it now. Like we said, I've always been rooting for him from the outset. He was a 2nd-round pick. The guy had big hands, some of the biggest hands coming out of the combine, out of the draft class, over 10 inches, which for a wide receiver is a big set of mitts. But
for his height too,
right now, I feel right now that unfortunately his ceiling is kind of below the floor of the rest of the wide receiver room, and I think I don't think he's got what it takes to be a chief, to be honest, right now. He may want to look to see if he can start somewhere else. In terms of the competition that we've got in that room at the moment, spoiler alert, I don't see him making the 53.
If we asked fans, big Sky Moore fans even, if there's such a thing, trying to be generous, you getting rid of Hollywood Brown? No. You getting rid of Rashee Rice? No. You getting rid of Juju Smith-Schuster? No. You getting rid of Xavier Worthy? No. You getting rid of Jalen Royals we just picked? That's 5 right there you're not getting rid of. Nico Remigio has acquitted himself much better in a much shorter period of time already. So that's maybe 6. Then who you got? Who's 7? Tyquan Thornton has been all team all day, all preseason. He's not going anywhere.
He's the one.
7.
He's that when he came in, you weren't sure when he first came in. You weren't sure whether he was going to make the roster. I mean, he wasn't lights out for the Patriots. He got picked in the 2nd round based on the fact that he ran a blazing 4.26 or something like that at the combine. And he's come in and he's just looked fantastic and built a rapport with Mahomes in training camp that just nobody was expecting. And he's been targeted quite a few times in the preseason games. And I feel like there's that kind of, he's basically the 53 now. And I don't see Sky Moore making that over those guys. I do believe it was 7. I was debating whether it was 7 or 6, and maybe they take a 10th D lineman, but I think they'll take the 9 D lineman. 7th wide receiver being Remigio actually for the return job.
This is the thing. It's I'll give you 2 words on Thornton, on the people that were like, well, we weren't sure, blah blah. What he did or didn't do with the Patriots. You know how on I don't know if you're a fan of the Parks and Recreation. I was on that show. I did 1 episode with Nick Offerman and Aziz Ansari were in the scene I was in, and
I've seen some.
Yeah, it was the Duke Silver episode where he catches them. They're trying to get things that are embarrassing for each other, and Aziz Ansari he calls him into his office. He goes, Tom. He goes, oh, Ron Tanamo. He goes, hey Tom, found a little something online. He goes, what's that? And he holds up a picture of him dressed like a Jedi for Halloween, and he goes, Taliban robes. Well, my 2 words for Tyquan Thornton aren't Taliban robes. They're quarterback play. The Patriots quarterbacks do not exemplify what wide receivers truly can do in an offense. at this point, not since Tom Brady left. So I gave him a waiver right off the bat on that. We reviewed when he came over last year, we reviewed his college tape, and I was just like, this guy could be a hidden gem, and so far, so good. So we'll see where that goes.
It was his final season really at Baylor where he kind of he caught people's attention, because before that it wasn't really making any noise in the draft community, and then into his final season he lit it up with something just like about 1,000-yard season, and it was very, very impressive. And then when he ran that combine time of something like a 4.26, then that's pretty much what got him selected in the second round by the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, dog, hey, shh, settle down. You're all right.
Don't think the dog likes Tyquan Thornton.
I don't. She does. She heard Sky Moore's name and was just like, she got upset.
Well,
it's okay.
Yeah, I get like that sometimes as well.
It's okay. What time do we got? It's not 4 o'clock yet. She should be getting crazy.
No.
We were talking about a television show that I was on, and we're talking about some acting. So I'm going to go to a preview screen really quick because I'm in the habit now. This year I'm going to be sharing a couple commercial spots each episode as I'm getting busier. So let's go check one right now. We're also going to look at some stats and stuff. It's not just about looking at yours truly. As much as I would love to do that, we're going to go to the video review screen. Where are you, my friend? You said you'd be my friend. The studio thing here. We had a little trouble getting on earlier because my camera wasn't for some reason showing up. Even though I'm not on your screen, my actual camera was not showing up. That's not what we want. That's what we want. Okay, done right there. We're going to go ahead and share one of these spots. Here's a message from well, they're not our sponsor, but if they were, it'd be cool.
Yep. Any new 2015 Honda is good to go. You can choose any style and color you want. Just don't let the amount of choices paralyze you. I was once paralyzed by a marbled cone snail in the Mediterranean for almost 2 days before it wore off. As awful as that may sound, it did give me a lot of time to think, which led to the creation of snacking gloves. They're great because they keep your hands free with these pockets on the outside. One holds your drink and one holds your dip. Oh, that's a dip side.
Yes, don't rub your eyes. Those dates are accurate. That was when I was grad dad for Honda Financial Services. That was a minute ago. But it was a lot of fun, and that was an improv at the end there with the dip side thing, and the crew cracked up. So we're going to go ahead and look at something here really quick. I wanted to talk contracts just really quickly. We have, not arguably, we do have the best quarterback in football. And one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end ever, in Travis Kelce. And this is just a quick reminder to everybody, all right, that's out there. Travis is not the highest paid. He's not the second highest paid. He's the third highest paid tight end in football behind George Kittle, who some still feel has an argument, and Trey McBride. So make that make sense. That's Travis. And then on the quarterback side, it gets even more ridiculous. Despite there being a preponderance of evidence that the kid's a winner and he's awesome and anybody in the league would take him, he's not first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th highest paid quarterback in football on an annual basis is your quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. So if that's not ridiculous, I don't know what is. That said, we do know that math is funny that way, and the math ain't mathing when it comes to how much money this kid has, because his endorsements off the field, him being part owner of multiple sports teams, he's making a lot more money than just what that thing shows on paper. But to be fair, in football, he's not. So he just wants to win. He's like, I'm gonna be good enough that I'll make a whole bunch of money off the field, so I can give my team a break, and we keep getting these great players. Great players, what do you feel our situation is, starting with the roster? Of course, you got to stop with the most important position, center. It's just alphabetical. But our offensive line, he is offensive line. And I wanted to talk to you about offensive line really quickly before we go into Felix and injuries and all those guys. But sucks that we lost Tooney, obviously. Wasn't getting younger.
Does.
So there's that. How do you feel about first of all, the rookie, Give me some love on that. Give me some feedback on that, because I know you love this kid. Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, yeah, he's the guy's got all the talent. He's got the talent and the athleticism to be, if he wants to be, and he stays injury free, this guy could be all pro. Now that's something that is going to take time. It's something that will come in time. He's got to kind of find his at the NFL level, but the signs we've seen, the relatively small sample size so far, they've been encouraging. A lot of analysts and people have been picking through the small sample size of snaps we've seen. They've been waxing lyrical about him, but coming out of Ohio State, the guy was just fantastic. I've never seen somebody move like him for his size. His athleticism was just mad. It's mad, but he's really, the sky's the limit for him. It really is, and a few people said that in the Chiefs organization. And the fact that we were traded back to 32 with the Eagles to select him, if it wasn't for the injury that he suffered, the guy would have been the first tackle. Yeah, and it would have gone top 10 without a doubt in my mind. So if he stays injury free, like we found with Trey Smith, we could be onto an absolute sure thing. Then the next 10 years, nobody will be talking about the left tackle being an issue for the Chiefs. That's the potential that you're looking at. But of course, you know what football's like yourself. Yeah. It could be anything could happen. Freak injuries, the Chiefs medical staff not being entirely correct about the medicals. But let's just fingers crossed hope they are, because he's got every chance of being one of the top left tackles in the NFL in a few years' time.
Let's just say things being equal, he stays healthy. Here's where I'm at. Yeah. I watched the tape. As excited as I was about Trey Smith coming out, and as excited as I was watching Creed Humphrey's tape, because he's a mauler too, watching Simmons' tape when he was healthy, I haven't seen a tackle like that made me go, wait a minute, what? Since Orlando Pace. And I'm not saying he's Orlando Pace. Orlando Pace is a different style. But just the mauling / athleticism / get off. Like, it's just, he just pops off the screen like crazy. You can't, his ownership of his position is unlike anything we've seen in, probably since Willie Roaf came over from the Saints as a Chief.
I mean, the guy can, his kick step, he can move from sort of almost 5 tech to kind of a 7 tech in a kick step. And it's just, it's like lightning fast.
And we'll translate that for our viewers that don't have the tech,
get there.
The tech numbers down in their head.
Yeah. It's basically like lining up in front of the defensive end, and then almost kind of in your kick step, you're at the point where you're pretty much meeting on an back coming around the outside. So it's a big step. It's almost 2 steps in one, really.
So when
the speed he gets there is just mental.
In layman's terms, when he moves around the pocket, he takes the guy around the pocket. It's not, we're going to slow you down, move you out and around a little bit until we both eventually collapse into the quarterback. No, you're going to go all the way around, and you're never going to touch the quarterback. If I have to go around to the other side of the line, he's ridiculous. He's incredible.
It's kind of if it's a vertical set, or if it's a kind of 45. So if you've got somebody that, vertical set, if you're lined up and you've got a defensive end that's trying to almost bull rush you, and you just got to anchor down. You don't need to turn your body at 45 degrees, anything like that. He's got the, and we've seen that. Thankfully, the knees held up so far in what we've seen in the small sample size. So fingers crossed, it's been positive that's holding up to the rigors of holding off the big strong defensive end going at him, and having to literally anchor. Kind of get sand in the pants and get low, pad level low, and pretty much all of that weight and all that strength, you're taking it on your knees. And that, it's fantastic that that's held up so far. But even if he's at a 45 degree angle where somebody's either kind of stunting and looping around the outside and inside, he's got the ability to kind of kick step and then hold his anchor or redirect them around the pocket. And it's just what we've seen so far from him. It's all just been fantastic. And that, you've got to be athletic to play tackle. It's not just the same as a guard, where generally the guards are the big, strong, meaty guys. You've got a lot of they can anchor down, and they don't really need to move very much, because often you've just got guys coming straight at you as a guard. You see that in football. They're not really
Rollers,
leaping
yeah.
around the outside where you've got to redirect them. So that's where you need that athleticism as tackle. And I've never seen anybody in the time that I've been looking at and kind of scouting college prospect with that kind of athleticism. It was just, it was insane.
I am older, so if you have people in the audience that are younger, go look at Orlando Pace and you'll see what I'm talking about. Do you feel like Jalen Moore takes over on the right side? How do you feel that's going, that battle in camp?
To be honest, I don't think there's a genuine right tackle battle. I don't think there is. I think what they've done, I think they've taken, Joanne Taylor. There's possible he was injured last year. He's had some issues, so there's no guarantee that anybody stays fit throughout the season. It may well be that Moore needs to take snaps at right tackle at some point, but I think for me, I have a feeling that Taylor's the starting right tackle, but Moore, they've wanted to take somebody who's not just a kind of swing tackle, but a swing defensive lineman, basically. And I think that's what Moore's become. The guy who's been taking snaps at left guard, he's been taking snaps at right tackle, and I think he's the one that's taken as that. If we want, we can play him at right tackle, play him at left guard. So I think swing offensive lineman is where he fits in, but I don't think he'll start. I think it'll be Taylor that starts right tackle. I think it's his.
Yeah, I was wondering
I've got that feeling.
What world would it be if another universe where they're like going, oh, Jalen's the guy, and we don't want to have all that much money locked up into right tackle if Jalen's going to be a right tackle, and we need a defensive tackle. Is there somebody, if a team was willing to trade, without getting ridiculous and having like Aaron Donald come back to the league, but is there somebody in the league where if some team was needing a tackle and they had an extra D tackle, who would you have on your wish list to try to trade for if you traded Jawan Taylor for a D tackle? Is there somebody that pops out that's not a ridiculous ask?
Not necessarily. No, I don't think so. I think there's somebody. You probably, had it not been for the issues that we've seen recently, I mean, and I'm still not sure whether he would do it, but Christian Wilkins is a name that was thrown up by people who don't need to trade for him anyway. He's a free agent, so whether you want to kind of take what's been alleged as given that he's not a good team player and that he's a bit of a bad apple in the dressing room. That's for the organisation to figure out. But
I heard he kissed his teammate on the forehead, and
and then it changed a bit something else. It went a bit far, didn't it?
As a Chiefs fan, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I'm only going by the rumor mill. But as a Chiefs fan, I could easily see a veteran player that's got ability going, it's okay, you're a Raider. You're not expected to be a good player, and if his antics aren't bad or team cancerish, there's definitely nobody that we could pick up right now as a free agent that has ability and would also just have a built-in disdain and willingness to take it to the Raiders both games this season and really just get after them and go, hey, remember me, guys? The cast off, remember me?
That's the extra. It's the extra spice to the sauce, isn't it? That just happens to be a former Raider. That maybe he would kind of would have a little bit more of a kind of to go after them. But I think it's that's in another universe. For me, it stays as it is. I think the one thing I think we probably will end up doing is looking to bring in possibly a free agent defensive end. I think now that we lost FAU.
Yeah, and I mean who do you have as your starting five? Who's your starting five up front if you pick five?
Karlaftis, Jones, Pennell, and Dana for me.
So it's four, and then a Menahu on the other end.
Early downs.
Or you're going to have Dan on the end.
Yeah, and then Den on the end. Menahu maybe is kind of the second string behind him, but then you've also rushing down or passing down. Sorry, you're passing third down. For Omar Norman-Lot.
Yeah. So, now, do you think Omar Norman-Lot at this point is an improvement on? So if those original five were our original five, would you rather have Dan on the end and kick a Menahu inside, or take a Menahu out and put an Omar Norman-Lot on there as a rookie, trying to see if he can do something?
I think it depends on the matchups. To be honest, I mean it's like they've done it previously. They just look for the favourable matchups where they've done with Chris the years, that on third down, he has effectively picked who he wants, the matchup he fancies the most, and
Right.
lines up inside at times. And they've done it with George Karlaftis. So there's no reason why you can't do that, and that you just rotate guys in and out depending on the match you feel are favourable the most, and not necessarily stick with rushing down. It's going to be Purnell, irrespective of who's lined up in front of him. On third down, it's going to be Norman Lott, regardless of who's lined up in front of him. I think it's a bit of it's more fluid than that. It's not a static situation. I don't think it should be static.
Honestly, the length of him, I like having Charles Omenu. And I know people are like, "Oh, he's not exactly the same. He's still coming back from his injury." Okay, I like his length. I like the length, and he gets his hands up and he knocks balls down. And when he does get the motor going and he does get things right, he's better than half of the guys we got on the team in that position. So, as far as corners,
definitely a serviceable player.
Go ahead.
He's more than a serviceable player. He's got quite a lot going for him. So, and I think this could be it's I think the first season where for a while he's been truly fit and going into the season fresh, not carrying some kind of knock or, and he's got that, he's a bit of fight in him. He's got a reason to play. He's got a little bit that, like, I'll show you kind of mentality that people might have doubted me. I've got something to prove. So,
little prove it juice.
I'd much rather have him.
He's got a little prove it juice in him. Now, let's kick back to our secondary. Where are we at? What's your thoughts? Give me your starting. Let's go starting four and then throw in a nickel.
Starting four, I do have a feeling that it's going to be it's going to be McDuffie, and I feel like
Fulton if he's healthy. Yeah.
I feel like we're probably going to have. I'd like to see Noel Williams, but I feel as though maybe the fancy Jalen Watson and Nazi Johnson. A little bit more apologies. Maybe throughout the season that changes a little bit. Yeah, maybe that changes a little bit throughout the season. But it's again with Spags. You know what it's like. It's never just your standard two boundary corners and two safeties. It's it could be a nickel package, a dime package. It changes all the time, doesn't it? So yeah, exactly. And it may well be that he plays an extra safety, or he plays an extra linebacker. So it depends. That's the beauty of Spags. He's again with the kind of matchups he fancies. He'll change the personnel to suit. But I think there's the ones who'll play snaps probably this season. There'll be the likes of Johnson, Watson, McDuffie, and Fulton. But I wouldn't be surprised if Noah Williams starts to see a lot more action further on into the season. But also Christian Rowe and Wallace have been waves quite a lot. So
it's an interesting safety for us this year.
I think he'll probably play a little bit of everything. To be honest, play in the box, play. I don't necessarily think he'll play. Maybe single high, too high maybe, but I wouldn't leave him back down his own. But I think he'll play all of it. He might play a bit of nickel. He might play.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, still think they'll take Edwards, Mike Edwards, but Cook and I think Hicks will be the guys that play the majority of the snaps back there.
Right.
And I love what I've seen from Jaden Hicks as well.
Was Watson's injury a concussion or the foot? Which one was the foot? One guy broke his foot. Oh, it was the defensive end, Denarius, who's on IR with a broken foot, right?
Yeah, I think they waived him, didn't they? On the basis of that,
I'm sure. Yeah, they got some waivers in there. I had the list.
Denarius Robinson, was it?
Yeah, Janarius. Yeah, Janarius was placed on injured reserve. Darius Rush was waived injured. Felix is injured reserve. Deion Bush is injured reserve. That was the other safety I was trying to think of. That's been in and out and back.
Yeah, Deion Bush was a big Spags guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he was cut last year, but ultimately came back into the he came back to the team, and he again he keeps playing. I don't know how, whether he is initially cut and brought back, or he's played the most special team snaps for the last couple of years of anybody, and Spags seems to love him. Same with Jack Cochran. He's another one. Jack Cochran's the same. Yeah. When it comes to the Dave Tobe as well. Dave Tobe and Spags seem to love them, especially when it comes to teams. Tobe loves Bush, loves Cochran. They play a lot of team snaps.
Well, they're four-core special teamers. If you can be a four-core special teamer, man, that's huge. That's massive. And in an emergency go in for a rep or two. Didn't Bush have a pick last year? Was it the year before in the end zone to end a football game? Like they're not losers. Let's put it that way. They're both multi-ring
absolutely not.
individuals.
No,
you know.
yeah,
And
yeah. They're not dead weight. They're not.
No. And in that
They're not
world
carrying them. They're people who actually have got something to contribute.
in that world of iron sharpening iron that we always talk about, I always tell people, I go, you don't know what they did in camp and practice in St. Joe's in preseason, where they show something to a starter that the starter hasn't seen, and it's just like they're always growing and improving each other. Now those guys might never rise to the level of starter, regular starter, or even a lot of reps during the season as a rotation guy. But they're out there on special teams, and you need to have bodies to throw at people that know what they're doing, that know what the team wants them to do in their system. So those guys are key. Let's go over to the running back spot. Who do you have making the team? Who do you have not making the team?
3 making the team for. I think that will be
Just
Checo,
3, yeah.
Hunt, and Rashard Smith. I don't think Mitchell's shown enough. Elijah Mitchell. I think he's. Had a lot of talent coming out of college, but I don't think he's shown enough. I think that's it. And I don't think they'll keep Carson Steele.
Yeah, you think we're only going to go 3, huh?
The need.
Only going to go 3?
Yeah, I think it'll be just a 3. Could be wrong, but I've got a feeling that's the 3 they'll go with. I think we'll just go with those guys.
That would be like Pacheco,
And
Clyde,
should.
and McKinnon a couple of years back.
Yeah,
Those 3 guys, that kind of situation, rotation.
yeah.
I don't know that anybody's going to jump on Carson. We might be able to slide him on if he's still eligible on the practice roster, but there's some teams that would probably look at him and go, no, we can use that guy. Elijah Mitchell for sure would get somebody
Possibly,
to pick him up for
depends.
sure. And the wide receiver room already. Tight ends.
Yeah.
Got some interesting players at tight end. What's your take on the tight end spot?
Going into training camp and OTAs, I was big up on Jake Brunenstuhl. As gone on, I've pretty much, like everybody, fallen in love with Robert Tonyan. Bob Tonyan has been absolutely fantastic. He's been a breath of fresh air.
He's Kelsey Light out there. He's been Kelsey Light every time he gets out there.
Yeah, he's nothing but make plays. So I think we take 4, and I think it was, for me, would have been Brunenstuhl before. But since I think he's just played his way into the roster, Tonyan, so I think it's going to be Gray, Kelsey, Wiley, and Tonyan. They're the 4 that make it, and that maybe Brunenstuhl makes it the practice. Please Waivers, which
I don't think Brunenstuhl's shown enough that somebody's going to jump on him. But if somebody loved him in college, then he's going to be the guy. We know who our starting center is.
Yeah.
We know who our starting right guard is. Our starting left guard. Do you have Kingsley pulling that off? Do you have, like you said, more plugging in there? What do you think's going on?
I'm a bit concerned about Kingsley still. I mean, I don't know whether mentally there's damage being done from last season and being pulled as the starting left tackle, but times he's looked fine and comfortable at left guard, but at times he's looked uncomfortable and like he's not really getting it, and he's given up a couple of pressures here and there. And it's I mean, it was one snap I saw last week. His balance wasn't right at all. He just couldn't find his balance and get set, and he was almost pushed straight on his backside with hardly any effort by the defensive tackle. And those kind of things, and it's not something that has to happen. Those kind of things can make a big difference. Just one snap in a football game that can make a difference to ending a drive, and causing a turnover. So I'm a bit concerned about what's to come, and when he goes up against genuine kind of full-time starters every single week to other teams, opposition's best defensive tackles, and they'll exploit that. They'll move people around the line just like Spags does. They'll do that, and if they see that he's the weaker matchup, then I'm a bit concerned about whether he holds up to the rigors.
I think they're trying to give him every chance to succeed. I think in the run game he's great. In the pass game, he's what's the word I'm looking for? Not a weak spot, something else, a liability almost, which could happen on any down. You can't have that.
Yeah.
The one name that nobody's talking about, I feel anyway, there was a Super Bowl not that long ago. The game itself didn't go very well, but there was an individual that acquitted himself very well at left guard, whilst Mr. Tooney was out at left tackle, and that's Mike Caliendo. Mike Caliendo didn't do anything to play himself out of an option to be the left guard for our team this season, as far as I was concerned. He was totally serviceable. He wasn't stellar in the run game, but he was holding up, and he wasn't stellar in the pass game, but he didn't give up a sack in the Super Bowl against that defensive front. So, what are your thoughts?
Massive in itself, because pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody else did.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically, yeah. He's probably the only one who didn't. Yeah, he was a bright spot, and he's more than serviceable. You know, he really is. He's. I wouldn't want to see him as the star, but if he is the kind of lesser of two evils between himself and Sumata here, then I think I'd quite happily see Caliendo take that. But I'd love to see, you know, the Kingsley, because, you know, they're rooting for him. Everyone's rooting for him. We're all rooting for him. He's got a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. It's just making it work on the football field and putting 2 and 2 together, and that's what I want to see. That's what I hope happens anyway. But
what I don't want to see is Trey Smith and Jawan Taylor competing for most false starts in the season or most false starts in the game.
No.
Because that just seems to be like,
no.
Dude, don't tell me 65 again. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Is he just so good at timing it up that they think he's offside and he's not? Or is he really just blowing it on a regular basis, like a lot?
I don't know.
He's a great player.
So let's hope
Don't get
not.
me wrong, he's a great player. I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best guards in the league, and he's getting paid like it now.
Yeah,
those
fair
false
play.
starts would get you.
That's it. And I've like Jawan Taylor, hopefully he kind of cuts out that need. He actually lines up correct. Not line up correctly. It's just there's no excuse for that.
Right.
You know, sometimes you might have to hold. You know, it's like I'll accept that penalty because if I don't, my quarterback's going to be on his ass basically. So sometimes penalties are necessary, holding penalties, but lining up is absolute. You know, there's no excuse for lining up incorrectly. So that he needs.
You have the ball. Your team has the ball. You're one player over from the ball. See ball, line up, feet and hands, get ready. That's it. There's no checking with the ref. You're not a wide receiver out on the edge that might be a little too far back. Or just look where the ball is. You know the distances. You know the yardage.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to be. Let's check another spot really quick. Have a little bit of fun. I wanted to show this one last week and we ran out of time.
Yeah.
This one you'll see on the air a lot right now.
Hey, should I convert my IRA to a Roth?
You're asking the wrong guy.
You should ask around online. That's what I do.
You know, financial advice should come from a vetted fiduciary financial advisor who understands your personal financial needs.
Yes, that's a speaking
Makes
donkey.
sense.
Take the free advisor match quiz on smartasset.com to find one who can answer your questions and help you achieve your retirement goals.
That's one intelligent donkey.
You mean a smart ass?
Get started now at smartasset.com.
Yes. He said smart ass, but he got cut off. Because you can't say that on TV. That's not appropriate. That's not unless you're tweeting out a comment as president of the United States. You should not be saying stuff like that. Got a whole bunch of weird stuff coming up in the background here. Where are we at next? I got a card here with some things I don't want to miss out on because we only have you for a short period of time. We did the contracts and all that fun stuff. Elephant in the room. There it is. I put that in there as a note. Elephant in the room. What in the world is going to happen with Mr. Rashid Rice? Because when it first happened, I'm like, I love the positivity and the optimism that people have, but I'm like, you know who our team is, right? Like, we don't get breaks. When it comes to fines and suspensions, we don't get the breaks. We're not Pittsburgh. We're not the New England Patriots. It doesn't work. We're not the Arizona Cardinals quarterback. We don't get a break. We get what's the letter of the law, and then maybe a little bit more. The first person when people started saying anything less than 6 games, I said the floor is 6 games because we're the Chiefs. Because Charles Omenihu last season didn't admit to anything, said he didn't do anything, didn't get charged for anything, 6 games. So miss me with he confessed, therefore, there's video, so you're kind of caught. You're kind of not going to whiz your way out of that one. So Rashid Rice admitted that he did it, pled guilty. Pleading guilty in the eyes of the NFL is not a get out of jail free card. It's now we're going to put the hammer down and make sure you don't make that mistake again. Where do you have it? Because I've felt at times, depending on the pulse of what the league's saying and how they're acting, 8 to 10 games, maybe a season. They suspended a receiver for the Falcons for the season because he bet $1,200. Rashee could have killed like 6 people. I feel for the kid. We all make stupid mistakes when we're young and dumb, but it's not a good look. It's really not a good look. And for them to just go, whatever. And I mean, the fact that, I mean, first of all, like, let's just call a spade a spade. The rules for thee and not for me is 100% in effect, because you or I do this, we're sitting in cells right now. There's no 30-day sentence. It's way longer than that. And it's not 30 days whenever we feel like doing it. So let's be real about that right out of the gate. He's already getting a huge break from the actual authorities, the actual people that should be handling this. Compensations are being made. You know, their concessions rather are being made. So where do you think the league sits at? Where do you think Roger Goodell sits at right now, this day? And then people bitching about the suspension might be early in the season, late in the season. How long do you think he gets, and when do you want it to happen, and when do you think it will happen?
When do I want it to happen? Not at the start where we've got a bit of a tough start. So I'd like it to be kind of a bit further into the season. It was the middle of the season when we've made an established start already. We found our feet as a team. Some of the younger guys and the rest of the wide receiver room have found their feet. They're feeling a bit more comfortable. So that'll be better. I think it will be then as well. I don't think it'll be the start of the season. I think it will be a bit further in. But I'm with you. I think that the floor is 6 games. I've heard people saying, "Oh, well, maybe they might be able to negotiate down to 4 games." No, forget about that. That's not going to happen. Like you said yourself, you might get some kind of reduced sentence when from the judge if you plead guilty straight away. They'll give you a bit of credit for that, rather than force somebody to have to go through a trial, a victim, that kind of thing. But when it comes to the rules, it makes no difference whatsoever. So, well, fair enough. Good boy. You've owned up to your mistakes. Doesn't make a difference though. Your punishment's still going to be X, Y, Z. And I think the floor starts at 6 games. I have a feeling that it's probably going to be around game mark.
You put it out there for a second. It's probably going to be around what, do you think?
I think 8. I think it'll end up at the 8 game mark. I don't think he'll miss the season. But 8 games, it's basically half, isn't it? And more. The regular season, that is. So if we've got him back for the postseason, that's when I really would like to have him around. I certainly hope it doesn't affect the Chiefs when it comes to the postseason. And the Chiefs will make the postseason. It's the AFC West. I don't see anybody challenging the Chiefs for the dominance. Yeah. So right now, you feel as though that kind of the season takes care of itself without Rashee Rice. Right. Where you do really need him at the pointy end is the postseason, where hopefully it's not affected. It doesn't take into account those games. Certainly hope that it's maybe just more towards the end or middle end of preseason.
Well, what I'm looking at too is if we have him for the first 4 games, and you just let Jalen Royals dip his feet a little bit and get into the groove of things, and then he gets suspended on 5 on, and then Jalen's ready to roll, because I mean everything out of camp. The most common thing I heard from people was like, if he was wearing a number 4 jersey, people would have said,
"Would no difference."
They would have said, "Oh, Rashee looks faster this year." That's a nice compliment. That's a really nice compliment.
Yeah, he's a Rashee Rice clone. I mean, you can see, watching Utah State film last year and watching Jalen Royals, I was kind of another guy that I sort of really liked, that I'd love for us to kind of take on. And it happens. We brought him in.
Right.
Pleased with it, but because he reminded me a lot of Rashee Rice, that kind of yards after the catch, the strength making people miss, forcing missed tackles. He had all of that in abundance, but with a bit more speed.
And I don't want to put pressure on the kid. I don't want to set the bar too high for fans' expectations. Yeah. But I watch his play at Utah State, and I'm like, he looks like he gets the game better than Rashee did coming into the league. Rashee was a fine receiver at SMU. He looked sharp and everything. Royals looks like he was just playing a different game than the guys around him. He was just like, well, I'm going to get the ball here because nobody's going to be there. And he would go there. And then it's going to go this way, and that's going to happen. And that's going to work out. And this thing's going to happen because I'm smarter than you at football. And it was just like, I got the confidence and the swagger and the ability it was like watching Rasheed after his first season, or late in the first
Yeah,
season.
I mean Royals. Yeah, that's it. Royals coming out of college, he ran a more polished tree than Rashi Rice did. Something that was playing for me, so people to see. So, and with that little bit extra speed, and it's not to say that Rice isn't a good player because he's developed into a very good NFL wide receiver.
Number one, he's the number one,
and playing like it's. Yeah, and like I say, iron sharpens iron. And playing with Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football, he'll make you a better player himself. And I think that's what hopefully we can see from Jalen Royals. But regardless them out of the equation, you've still got plenty of players who should, we've got enough to win that AFC West, where we hopefully then bring Rashee Rice back in time for the kind of more important part of football postseason.
Do you think with this receiving core, which let's throw another guy up there really quickly because he just deserves it, because I just love's not too strong a word. I love the way he balled out in the second half of the Super Bowl and did not quit and did not show weakness. Just Xavier Worthy's crazy play, and with him and Royals and Rasheed if he's back later in the season, and Hollywood if he stays healthy, and Travis and Tunyon and the other guy, like the group of guys we have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Patrick Mahomes has a chance to get a second 50 and 5,000 season with this group of receivers?
Listen, he's always got a chance, but the thing is, he's
100%, 0%. What's your over under 50?
Well, over 50% because of who he is. He's always got that ability. No, but if the day that anyone turns around and says that it's under 50%, I think is the day when you're basically pretty much writing him off and saying he's not good at it any longer.
He's just a regular quarterback.
If you're talking about, if you're talking which he never will be. Even he's in early 40s, gets to my age of 43, he'll still be playing and still be in the conversation for MVP. That's just who he is and what he does. Yeah. So I think for me, it's one of those things where it's got to be over 50% of a possibility, but it's less likely than it was before because people have figured him out a little bit more. He's not an unknown quantity. He hasn't flown under the radar. Like, who's this kid that's come out of nowhere, thrown 50 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards? Now all eyes are on him. And everybody knows what he's about. Everybody game plans for him. They're not game planning for your wide receiver too very much. The game plan for Patrick Mahomes. So that it makes it real tough to do that kind of thing.
But you're game planning for Patrick Mahomes at arguably at or approaching the height of his powers, with on paper a better receiving core than he has ever had. And it's not remarkably close.
Yeah.
And I have this right here pulled up. My X page is pulled up because if you guys see me on X, add me for sure. Get the 4 trophies, got a little cheerleader action, and then it's got my acting stuff there. But I have this pinned on my page because Seth Kaiser posted the question back in the day. What's your over-under? Where do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to do? And I just want to remind people, this is August 6th, 2018, okay? And I said the best, his possible ceiling, what I think he honestly really could do, Pat Magic Mahomes' potential for 2018. Passing 4,560 yards, 48 touchdowns, maybe 15 interceptions, rushing 800. I thought we'd have more rushing yards, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 fumbles. Okay, the number's a little bit off, but if you add them together, his offensive prowess, yards, and touchdowns, I was off by 4 total touchdowns, and I was off by 9 yards. And that was nowhere near the level of receiving core as he's potentially got right now going into this season. I think all options are on the table. Knowing how Matt Nagy and Andy are about run adverse moments late in games, how they're willing to push the pass and go after the ball down the field, and having, if Royals can be like a Rasheed Rice, if they can get on the same field at the same time, and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy are creating havoc, and throw in Tyquan Thornton when you need a fresh leg burner to just run a fade down the field and terrorize the secondary, and then the Travis and his gaggle of tight ends creating havoc and hitting people in the face. And we even talk about Pacheco and the boys running. I'm like, I'm Richard Smith, and just like, I'm very excited about this season. I feel really, really good about chances of heretofore unseen numbers being unveiled by this offense. I don't know why I don't hear more people talking about that. I hear a lot of people saying the Chiefs have lost it. The Chiefs are washed. The Chiefs aren't going to be, they're on the downside. What, pray tell, has transpired that makes people say that? Oh, they just got housed in the Super Bowl. Au contraire, mon frere, they got housed worse against the Buccaneers. And what have they done since then? Just won 2 more Super Bowls and been to 3. Like, I don't understand the logic of these people. I just wanted to touch on that before you go. I know you're hard out. He's got to take off in a couple minutes. Do you have any last points for the fans, for the people? I'll go back to the Chiefs chat screen real quick. Thank you for being here. It's a little applause for you.
No problem. It's good to be here. You know, it's working out the schedules where they connected was a bit tough, but
Stay on. I'm right back. Keep talking.
It's not as easy with having the kids off school and that kind of thing, and having the busy schedule work-wise I've had recently. But it's been fantastic. You know, it's great to come and have a chat. Always love chopping it up with you. And I think the fans they've got a great season coming. They've got a great season ahead of them. Talking about the Chiefs are washed. That's more in hope that people saying that. It's not that they think they're really washed. Deep down there, it's more just hoping that the Chiefs are washed. So that it's kind of said behind a bit of a veil from people, to be honest. And in terms of the receiving cord that they've got and the offense this year, everybody last year they knew that really we were going to be hampered and hamstrung, and that everything was going to be underneath, or it was kind of to midfield, seam to Kelsey, that kind of thing. But now you open up throws outside of the numbers, entire the field stretched. You've got possibilities, down the seam, outside the numbers, underneath, mid-level, but also stretching the field with the pace that they've got in. Another season down for Worthy, Brown, healthy, Thornton bringing his pace as well. Damn, I wouldn't want to be a defensive back going up against some of that core. And a linebacker going against some of those guys.
A reminder for people who've been fans for 11 seconds and don't know better, and for people that always forget about these guys because they always go uncelebrated. If Josh Simmons can be a proper left tackle like we haven't seen since this guy who used to get hate, people didn't love him, people underestimated his worth on this team. The last time we had a legit left tackle that was like legit, I'd been playing for a number of years and had been solid to top 10 left tackle, was Eric Fisher. And that team's ability was so much better because 95% of the time Patrick Mahomes did not have to even think about that side of the ball. The other 5%, okay, just let me have a little extra eye over there because we're playing against the best defensive end in the league this week, or we got double team over there. Maybe we'll pay a little attention. But most of the time, it was just set it and forget it. The left side, Eric was going to make things happen. If this kid can be that guy, the fool thinks they're going to stop this passing attack. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to it. It's great to have you on for the first time this season. Hopefully, have you on again soon.
Absolutely. And let's not forget one final thing there, one parting shot as well. Let's not forget. And don't worry about the fact that if Josh Simmons has a very under season, don't forget that Eric Fisher, after being the number 1 pick in his respective draft class, had a pretty poor first season as well, but came very, very solid for the rest of his career.
Yeah, he got educated. Welcome to the NFL season. I feel like Josh isn't going to have as difficult a first season. If he stays healthy, I feel like he's going to make his mark pretty quick, and I think people are going to be on notice that, okay, can't mess with that kid. He's legit. All the arrows pointing up. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to jinx anybody. I feel great about the situation. I feel like our defense is going to take a second to come along because of injuries and just questions in the secondary and stuff. I want to see them come together. We didn't really talk about linebackers. I think linebackers were pretty good. We can talk about that next time, but for now, guys, I want to thank Chris for being here. I want to thank you guys for being in the chat, checking things out. Feel free to fire in questions whenever you want. I didn't have the chat on my phone, so the chat on the moderator thing doesn't show. So if you guys had fired anything in there, my apologies if we didn't comment. When I have a guest from overseas, I try to give them the floor and not be too distracted by the chat. And yeah, other than that, guys, the two words we always say around here, I'm going to leave it up to Chris. Let it rip. You know, we say at the end of the Chiefs. There it is. Go Chiefs. It's good to see you, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, sir. My wife will be glad to have you. Try to make sure it didn't keep you on too long. We're trying to keep it to 45 minutes to an hour this year.
Yeah.
It shows the 45 minutes to an hour this year. Not get crazy with it. I'll probably still have a couple where I just go off. Because people like to talk for an hour or three sometimes. But